Yeah. It's September 14th, 2009, Lakewood Country Club. And today, Dave Cleveland and Vic Ermel are interviewing Doug Miller. Doug is a longtime member here who has contributed a lot to the country club in service, as well as length of service and helping out in a lot of areas. So welcome, Doug, and we'll hope that we'll go ahead and get a lot of information that can be used in the archives as well as in our 100th anniversary pictures or manuals or book. So, David, you can start off.
Well, I guess we'd like to spend a few minutes, Doug, just finding out about you and your background. So start wherever you'd like. And
thanks for allowing me to do this. I was born 1945, born in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. My dad was in the service. We soon after he got out of the service, we moved to the west side of Cleveland. I was there till the age of 12 in the West 90th area, and then moved out to Rocky River. My mom and dad were both Cleveland people, and I have a younger sister and a younger brother. And after we moved out to the Rocky River area, my father got involved with various golf courses around the area. Dover Bay Golf Club, which was an old-time club, long since gone. Westlake Country Club, which was a little 9-hole golf course. Then eventually he joined Avon Oaks when it first opened. And then in 1964, I believe, he joined Lakewood Country Club, but we'll get back to that. I went to St. Christopher's Grade School, went to St. Ignatius High School, went to Boston College, so I had lots of Jesuits in my life. And then got an MBA at Michigan State University, graduated in 1968, and then went to work for my dad and his partner in a steel service center business on the west side of Cleveland. And I worked there all my life until we actually sold it to a German outfit in 2001. I worked for a few more years, and I've been retired for 4 years. And that's sort of my background and my biography. Actually, I have one daughter by a first marriage named Megan. And since 2000, I've been married to my wife, Kathy, and it's been a great relationship. And we just had our 9th anniversary on 9/9/09, which was kind of unusual. So we stayed in the house for fear of any falling objects on that day.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Bring me up to date. I joined Lakewood when I was 24 years old. They gave me the option of doing that as an intermediate member.
What year that
was in 1969, so I'm 40 years this year. So most of my adult life, all of my adult life, has been involved with Lakewood Country Club. First 3 years were a little tough. I had long hair. I was 24. I didn't know what was going on. No one paid much attention to me. Remember a guy named Bob Payne, who was an old-time member, said, "What, are you from outer space?" They didn't quite understand that. So then I got my hair cut, and he liked me better. So I started playing with a few older guys back in the 70s and got involved with Bill Toole and Wynot and Russ Smith and Russ Umbenauer and Ed Harris and just a bunch of guys. And they accepted me even though I was younger. So I had, a great relationship with those guys, and that's where I started playing golf and played a lot of golf. My involvement in committees started probably in the late 80s. Gary Tupe asked me to be head of the golf committee, so I was head of the golf committee for a couple of years and was involved with entertainment, and I was chairman of the Invitational Committee along there I forget what year. And then in the mid-90s, I got involved in the Green Committee. Stu Hughes was chairman, and I was involved in the search for Chuck Lott's replacement, and that was in 1995, 1996, where we chose Jim Noel. And since then, I've had a very close relationship with Jim. I became Greens Committee chairman in 1998. I was Greens Committee chairman for 4 years, so he and I have had our battles. And also, during that period of time in 1999, I was involved in the search for somebody, an architect, to come and create a master plan for the golf course. which was in great need at that time. The bunkers were in bad shape. The golf course design was good and, you know, had some Tillinghast qualities, but it needed some updating. And we felt at that time we should start the process. So we picked Stephen Kay, and I became close to him. 2000, the golf course master plan was created, and it took a while to get the finances together to get things going. But I believe in 2003, we did all the bunkering, new tees, and so on. And I was the co-chair of that with Bruce Gilbert. So we did that, and we're very proud of that. I think it brought our golf course up to snuff, and it's just continued. We've done many things since then. The great has been the improvement of the drainage in the greens, and it's been a constant improvement of the golf course where it's really in good shape now. Practice facility, new practice, new short game area, which I pushed for many years. So I've been involved in that, and you know, I knew a lot of the older guys. You're talking about Bud Stewart earlier, and Packle, and Tom Ferry, and all those guys did a great job for years and years and years, and I think we've had good leadership since then. We've made a few errors around the clubhouse, I think, but those are rectified and shall be rectified. And I think the golf course is our main asset, and we've made a true commitment over the past 10 years to do that. And that's my main thrust of my interest in Lakewood, has been in the golf course, and it will continue to be.
What was the driving force, Doug, behind developing a master plan? I mean, was it a membership initiative that we felt like something needed to be done, or was it more the board? Or?
I think it was more board-driven.
Okay.
We were creating all sorts of plans, long-range plans, this kind of plan, and we felt we needed something down on paper where, when a new regime came in, changes just couldn't be made at the whim of a president, let's say, or a whim of a board. So we had something down which gave us a basic plan that we could go forward with the golf course, and everything went through that. But it was board-driven.
And obviously there was a recognition at that point in time that we had a course that was designed by a well-renowned architect, and I'm sure that drove your search process to find Stephen Kay.
Absolutely. Stephen had worked on some Tillinghast golf courses and continues to work on Tillinghast golf courses, and I'm sure the recommendations of our group about his work has helped him gain some work since then. But he was familiar with Tillinghast, and this was the only Tillinghast golf course in Ohio, and he was proud to work on it. It was really a feather in his cap also. So we had a great working relationship, and he truly believed in Tillinghast and wanted to bring it back to a Tillinghast flavor, and that was part of the reason we hired him. I mean, he truly believed.
You played with a lot of old timers. One that sticks out in my mind is Russ Umbenauer.
Absolutely.
I still play with down in Florida. And he's a character in himself. He's a jabber. And one time I remember he won $3 for me, and he said he still had that $3 20 years later in his wallet. What were some of the funny things that those fellows did? I know that with Russ, he was just incredibly quick-witted and saying the same thing, just like Payne when his comment to you about your long hair.
Well, Russ just just jabbered and jabbered, and he constantly, and he'd always complain about something. His worst complaint was about clover. For some reason or another, he was always on lots of ask about clover. I don't know why, for whatever reason. And those guys, we used to play for quarters in a point game, and it was just vicious for over a quarter. It was terrible. And Umbenauer, he was a great contributor to the club. He helped with the air conditioning systems, and he was just a good guy. And all the guys were really good guys. And later in my golfing life, I ended up playing with Stu Hughes, who was club champ 13 times, and I still keep in contact with him. And also I played with Paul Williams, who was a true character, and he liked me, thank the Lord, and he didn't like many people, seemingly. He was tough to deal with, but we had a good time, and he was very competitive. And I played a lot of competitive golf with a lot of really nice guys around here, and we've had a lot of fun. But it's always competitive. It's a good thing. We've enjoyed ourselves. Hopefully, we've had a little tough time in the private club business recently, and Lakewood's maintained its strength, and I hope it continues to maintain its strength. And again, my main thrust is the golf course, and I think we have a really beautiful golf course. We lack a little terrain, but we can't help that. And we've done the best we can, and just to keep the golf course up, and that's the main thrust of my life. I've been here 40 years, and I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed the improvements, and I think we're on the right beam here.
So. Are there any funny stories with Stephen Kay? Stephen Kay is sort of a quiet, meticulous guy. I was in a couple of meetings where he was being interviewed, and the idea was he would come up with that New England or New York accent and quick-witted, but he was very, very quick-spoken and so on.
He's very opinionated, and he's not quiet at all. He has an opinion about everything, and it's constant. And it's tough to keep him down. And he loves to talk. If he gets an audience, and he loves this audio visual, and he'll just talk for hours and hours. And you got to kind of say, Stephen, that's enough. You're overselling the deal, right? Yeah, get the hook. I was hiding a few times because he was just going on and on and on and on and on, and people didn't know what he was talking about. And he was doing all this technical stuff about this green and the drainage going this way and this way. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. So, and I'm going, Stephen, stop. Just slow down. Tell them what they want to hear, and let's get out of here. So he oversold the program a few times, but. In general, people listened to him, and he impressed people, and that helped us sell our programs and helped us drive the board, drive the finance committee to find the money to do the projects, and I think he did a great job in that. So, but actually, Jim Noel and I played golf with Stephen up in North Dakota. We went to North Dakota with him. He's got a golf course up there. One of the first ones he designed, and I forget what it's called now, but it's the Links of North Dakota. And there were 3 good golf courses in North Dakota, and it took us days to go to either one of them. We flew into Bismarck, played this one, and we drove for 4 hours and played another one. We drove for 5 hours, and finally played this Links of North Dakota. And that was a lot of fun, but it took forever to get to golf courses.
Were they nice?
They were very nice. Yeah. They were very nice.
Competitive?
No, they were good golf courses. It was fun, but there were only 3 of them in the whole state of North Dakota that were worth playing. So it was a great trip, and he just talked for 4 days.
He may wind up being the only architect with Tillinghast background in North Dakota.
Absolutely, I'm sure. I'm sure they don't know who the hell Tillinghast is in North Dakota, in most places. So, it's been a great experience dealing with Stephen, and again, his personality has helped us sell some deals around here, and everything's worked out in that regard. And I'm proud of the board of the way they've carried forward with those plans.
Tell us about the inner workings. I know you mentioned with Jim Noel.
Mm-hmm.
Jim is also a very quiet, meticulous guy that I see running around here. For a long time, he wasn't talkative to the members, but over the years, of course, that's mellowed, and he's gotten to know a lot of people. And what was the relationship between your introduction to him saying, hey, we're going to change these things, and what happened during that 2 or 3 year period of the movement of this golf course from one level to another?
Well, Jim is, I've dealt with him for a long time, and he doesn't listen to me anymore. But he's hard-headed. He really is. Yeah. And if he's convinced of something, he'll give it his all. He's the hardest working man I've ever seen. Right. He's unbelievable. And he knew we had to make changes, and he was committed to that. So that was the easy part of the process. The harder part was convincing membership and getting the money and so on. But Jim is very committed, and he works closely with Stephen Kay. He's very close to Stephen Kay. And again, Jim and I have had our differences, and he's hard-headed. He's got his own way of things. He's become a little better. I